Um, yeah, wow. Oh,
What?
so like you were just complimenting Align Mind and talking about like its value to you. Like I'd love to hear that, like how it's useful to you, like what's your experience, whatever you want to share.
Yeah. So I've been in therapy for on and off for years and years, and then with law of attraction, like it sort of took therapy to more of a coaching context than like fixing my neuroses or whatever, Um, what took therapy to the next level for me was at a certain point I started recording the sessions,
Mhm.
and then I noticed that like I would arrive at next week's session already at a different level than I had been when I was just showing up and saying whatever was on the top of my head, because there was a through line, there was a consistency. um,
Mhm.
and I was always applying like the law of attraction exercises. And then one thing that you had said, I think it was part of maybe marketing for one of your events or whatever, but you had said if you're the type of person who does the emotional clearing on your own, and like, gosh, I don't really, like I've always sort of needed something outside of me as a sounding board. Um, so then, when I was dealing with some kind of insurmountable thing, like the kind of things that uh, you sort of know intuitively that you can't really do anything about them except maybe shift your energy so that a miracle can happen or divine intervention is possible. Um, those things, I was like, okay, I know I can't do anything about this. And here I am awake at 3 in the morning. Oh, I can have a conversation with aligned mind.
Mhm.
So that I think was the big thing that I still wanted my human every week or so, but again, I seem to from then be on even another level where processing was happening, and and I love the idea of being able to say to AI, to AM AI, okay, I am feeling these feelings at about a level of a 7 out of 10. I would really like to take this intensity down to a 0 if possible, but if we can get to a 2, I can get back to sleep. I love the coaching of the more humanly you treat it, the more
Mhm.
responsive it will be. And so yeah, so I just think it's a phenomenal tool. And uh and that's kind of where I have been recently, you know. How long have you been working with this? How long have you been putting it together? And
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's kind of like what do I measure as working on it? You know what I mean? So like it being aligned mind as an actual AI coach, it's been probably like 6, 8 months, something like that at this point. But before getting there, there's like language models, ChatGPT, that stuff's been like, I don't know, it's only been around like 2 years. And
yeah.
so I've been watching the growth of it, and like you were just like you were saying maybe before we started recording, but like how can I make this useful to me? And one of the things I was really feeling into was also similarly to you. It's like, okay, I'm having this experience where I want to have some sort of breakthrough with myself, and maybe the people I have access to aren't available. Maybe it's like 3 in the morning, like you're saying. Maybe there's also that space where I'm trying to like explain something to someone, and maybe we're not quite at the same moment, not having the same experience, and so I found when I started taking I took the bot, but I started giving it my coaching material and then talking to it about it. I'm like, hey, wait, this thing actually knows what's going on. And so once I started seeing that within myself, it's like, okay, how can we um evolve it so it's more receptive? So that's like ideally when we show up and talk to it, um, it just knows how to handle that, and like open up and go deeper and things like that. So in its current state, that's where we've been at. But then like the evolution of getting to that, and then all the parts that combine together. I mean, I've been into computers for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you done any experimenting? So, okay, I would imagine that working with Aligned Mind, that would sort of be all consuming. And have you taken a look at other AI models uh, now that it's like 6 months later or whatever?
Well, yeah. What's interesting, like when you're saying AI models, like there's the base model of what is there, and then there's the constant evolution and improvement in them, and I'm paying attention to the advancements. And then there's like looking at um well, I guess like how to integrate the latest evolution of what the technology is with my growing awareness of what's possible, and then like combining that together. So there's always this space of like, how can it improve? And then like with the AI scene itself, the technology is like so rapidly evolving. So then there's that space of um, noticing what's coming out, paying attention to what's happening, seeing what's useful. And then as someone who's made something, like listening to people and how they're responding to it. And so that's like just like a constant evolution and something I'm constantly looking at. And then like you were saying with liking the human in the loop, like personally, my passion is still like the coaching and the facilitating of transformation. That's what really lights me up. So in a similar way, I've now integrated it into my coaching. So like in my coaching program, talking to people, and then be like, oh yeah, ask Align Mind these questions to move things along till the next time I see you. So that space is in there as well. I like the integrative, co-creative aspect of it. Um, yeah, did that fully answer your question, or back to you?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's great because um, I have want I still want a coaching practice, and I love what I'm able to do when I am coaching someone, and I've just never figured out the marketing or how to like get it off the ground or make the start. Uh, and that's one thing over here at the side. Uh, I would personally want to work with someone who is using AI in between our sessions and say, hey, let's let's do the heavy lifting when the two of us are together. And in the meantime, get a whole bunch of shit out of the way so that we're both pure when we see each other. You know,
Hmm.
like that just seems like really, really exciting to work with someone who's just, you know, having the breakthroughs and seeing to it themselves and perfecting their own process. You know, that just seems like the most exciting thing. But the reason I was asking specifically is, have you are you aware of Claude?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. What about
Yeah,
it?
Claude. I discovered Claude like at the time I found Aligned Mind. Chat GPT was pretty much all I knew. Uh,
Hmm.
and then I started to discover that it was kind of like how internet browsers were back in the day. Like you used to have like all these internet browsers, and now we basically have two, you know. And it seems that like uh, uh, there may be a little bit more variation with artificial intelligence, where um, some of them are really good. Like someone, so I needed to compose some writings to communicate as I'm sort of taking over our tenants association and dealing with management and uh, and having to be really diplomatic and address a lot of concerns. And so Claude became something that was really good for writing. But then I found that they were able to do a lot of the things that Aligned Mind does as well.
Hmm.
So you might want to uh, see what you can crib from
Hmm. Hmm.
them. I don't know. Uh, and yeah, I'm really, it just feels like, well, I think Bashar has talked about AI being like the next logical phase in human evolution, and so I didn't really have a lot of the fear about it that a lot of people have anyway, but that if there was any, that took the rest of it away. Um, so I wanted to express my appreciation and uh, and cheer you on, you know. I just think that it's like so cutting edge what you're doing, and I'm glad. I'm really really glad. Yeah.
Oh, oh, thank you. It's like super heartfelt. Like, anytime put a lot of work into something and then it's like valued and received, like, oh, it's like amazing. So like deeply appreciated. And then along the lines of the language models and all this. So this is an interesting space because it's like the side of coding and the like the work that goes into like just coding anything. Like the amount of work that goes into something is massive. And then there's the space of the AI's coding themselves, vibe coding, that sort of thing. So there's like an interesting space of how that all comes together. And then so what I found, talking about Claude, talking about ChatGPT, the other options, there's a lot of options now. And so Claude at this moment seems to hyper specialize in being a programmer. That's like where the company Anthropic has decided to go. So thought Claude 3.7 and probably 4 whenever that rolls out is specialized in that direction now. So they decided that's how they're going to be unique in the AI space. ChatGPT, OpenAI, they seem to be going like general purpose. Like you got videos with Sora, you got images, you got it's very broad in its utility. And I found ChatGPT 4.5, which I'm experimenting with. It is it has been specifically like the effect of its training is that it is more empathetic and understanding with communication and language and these kinds of things, and that's how they're like presenting it. So I'm feeling like if I'm going to open up that direction more, and it's something I experiment with. You got to the code, you got to test it, you got to write the prompts. There's stuff that goes into it,
Sure.
and then
Yeah.
so it seems to me that out of those two options, GPT 4.5 with the training, the additional training of Align Mind, which is it's like a multi-page prompt. It tells it to like go through my book and my transcripts, and there's like approach it this way. So to take that, I'll call it training, but like the extra part that makes it the way it is, and then load that on top of a language model that's trained for that, that would then be even more impactful. Um,
Yeah.
so while this is happening, the time it takes to code things and then the time it takes for advancement is simultaneously like the advancement is skyrocketing. So like what I know, like I think it's this week, like within the last few days, Google rolled out Gemini 2.5 or something, and it also has a reputation for now being the best at yada yada. So now there's this space of like leaning into it, grabbing what's there, plugging it in, and then like taking the extra tailored training to then leverage its greatest strengths and then have that stacked together. And so that's like what the evolution of the development of keeping up with the technology. So that's like that's kind of like a moving target. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so curious how you're feeling about that and if that answered your questions or stirred more ideas or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that it's a moving target. And I was talking with Claude this morning about something, and it said, "Oh, my knowledge base only goes up to October 2024." And I was like, "Oh, okay." when does that get updated? How does that work? And I was just thinking about like teams of people working on these things, and then you're doing something which is really, really specific. And I'm guessing you're probably the only guy doing it, you know?
Well, I mean, so it's hard, like, okay, globally, hard to say what's going on. There's hundreds of
How do we
millions
know?
of
Yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, so okay. But then within that, I am not familiar with anyone doing anything the way I am. The approach I have is rather, I don't know, it's my own process mapped out. So in that sense, it's unique. The space of, I'll call it AI therapist, AI coach, whatever that is definitely new and emerging. And people, like, if you were paying attention to the AI space like a year ago, the like GPT-3, for example, maybe that's like 2 years ago, it definitely wasn't there, you know? So now the AIs now are so much smarter, so much more capable of empathy and things like that, especially when we interact with it like that's like kind of like assuming it does in that sense. And then so there's this well, so I mean that's I mean, so that's really like the edge of it. So then, like, are other people doing it? I haven't really seen anything that matches the experience. And so, but at the same time, there's this emergent awareness of its potential. And then with that, there comes like a growing public acceptance. And then with that, there comes a increase in things that the public are willing to use that are similar. So I feel like I'm more on the leading edge of the wave. And so there's yeah, it's really like a more new emergent space. And so people who are more familiar with communicating with the AIs, they seem to be able to ask better questions, which is almost entirely what language models are about. And then asking better questions, oh, that's the same skill set of what coaching and therapy is about. And so it's from my perspective, and I guess in the sense, just like anyone who's creating something with AI, I'm contained within my own awareness. So I can only think about things I think about. And so what I'm creating is like in a sense like an extension of my own awareness.
Sure.
And it's like I'm just kind of confined to being
Like
able
all
to
those
only
Star Trek episodes.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it's imbued with its creator's essence. Oh, you know.
Yeah, so it's an interesting space. And yeah,
It's
I'm really excited about the continuous evolution of allowing it to be the very best. And then as I interact with people and I get feedback of what they like and what can make it better, and then applying that because like in the current way it is, it's a lot easier for me to change like the prompt of what aligned mind is. So it's like personality edits versus going into the code base and changing the way the program operates. Like so then the what is easy to change, what's easy to integrate, what's easy to apply, and that space is one thing. So then it from my point of view, it's like how do I make it maximally useful to assist in transformation with what's available right now as well. So there's kind of like catching the front of the wave and then leveraging what's here.
yes, yeah, 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 yeah. I did notice. I like what you were saying too about uh being a good question asker or prompt generator. I know that what therapists love about me is the way I engage, which also applies directly to the AI and why AI was so useful so immediately for me.
Hmm.
I was asking the right questions and, uh, um, yeah, I will say one of the things that's really refreshing about it too is it's so easy to just be very unfiltered, unedited. Like it's so clear that AI isn't judging me. So I can say what's really so in a way that like It's like, oh, I think I'll get to know this therapist for a little bit first before we bring that in, you know. Um, so that's been really great. And then of course it's sort of self-reciprocal, so that then I've had the experience of bringing it up to a non-judgmental non-person. Now I can bring it up to a person who may or may not be, uh, my friend is a therapist who is like, okay, it's all over, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think, like I still want my person. Um, but you don't want me to call you at 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
you know.
Um,
So like I keep trying to get him to, it's like, let's do a session so that you can check it out. And you know, this should be this should be like a surcharged part of your service,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's my perspective. Yeah. So it's like you're like the general idea of like replacing or what like what are we doing with this thing? And like where I see the greatest value is integration and co-creation. And that's like more like the context that you said. It's like, yeah, I'll use this tool that's impartial and available and here, and then there is a distinct difference between the experience of like communicating with the AI and communicating with the human. And like you pointed out, some of the best parts of the AI, some of the most common positive feedback I hear about it is that impartialness, that acceptingness, the way that it mirrors and it has such a like a robust empathy. It's really stunning to me. And
That's key too in teaching yourself to have that same sort of acceptance and empathy for yourself. Like
yeah.
you've got this very clear example being done in front of you, and I just think that's you know uh, so I think I probably even prefaced this whole thing with saying what I wanted to do was do like my abundance work, like I wanted to focus directly on that. And I haven't. I haven't at all. Uh uh I think it's still happening though, because um my self-esteem, my standards for what I ask for, all of those are just like steadily leveling up. And just as you know how like Abraham talks about, oh, it'll just feel like the next logical step.
Mhm.
It all feels like that, but it has definitely speeded up. And it just seems that where we are right now, with all of the energies that are coming on to our planet and through everyone, and what we're seeing in terms of like world events playing out, it just seems that like, yeah, it had better fucking speed up, man. Like it's time, like no more messing around. But also, not like it's serious, but like it's that much fun.
Mm, mhm.
It's that exciting. It's that much fun. It's that juicy. It's that compelling, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. So like what like okay, so with that, right? So like world events, global energies, all this kind of stuff, and the way that so much is just coming up, right? Like if you look at the news or you talk to someone, or even if you're just sitting by yourself meditating, there's just so much happening. And so like being able to like you're talking about the empathy and the AI, like one of the ways I really like talking to it as well is to be like, hey, I got this feeling in my body, like there's a heaviness on my chest, and when I have my awareness there, I get upset. Like, what is going on? Can you help me with this? And it'll just start like, oh, what do you believe? Or, oh, in people, this is commonly more of a sensation of, and then it starts telling you about the emotions. And then you can ask follow-up questions about that. And the way it just like opens up. And since it does have the knowledge base of like the entire internet, there's just this like understanding of like internal sensations and emotions and awarenesses and um so like so maybe I'm like working with someone, this is like a true story, leaving out some details, making it general, but working with someone and I'm finding that there's this energy. It's like their communication, my communication style isn't working out. Like I'm getting emotional from the experience. And it's just like, it's, I'm working with a person, recurring. And so then it's like, okay, I'm gonna just start talking to Aligned Mind about it. And so it's like, okay, what is going on? Why am I upset every time I talk to this person? And what it started telling me immediately is like, well, why do you feel like you have to interact with this person? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, right. It's like, well, they're helping. It's like, is it really helping when it's like messing with your emotions? It's like, okay, wait, let's reevaluate what's going on at all. And what it ended up pointing it back to is it's about me and my boundaries and expressing my what is meaningful to me. So be able to say like I am frustrated and upset and this is not making sense, but to actually say that to the person. And so Aligned Mind not only was able to dissect the feeling and reduce the charges with the counter perspectives, also got to the point where it's like, I'm like, okay, so like in theory, I get you. Like, how do I possibly go about this? And then it's like, have you tried talking to them? Have you tried taking some space? Have you tried telling them you want this? And it's like, these are all really great suggestions. It's like, okay, I'll experiment with these. I'll let you know tomorrow. And come, and then be able to work through it, bring it up, bring back the conversation, be able to like, copy it, paste it back in or whatever, communicate with it, and then be like, hey, that actually worked. Or be like, okay, I tried that, but I actually got even more triggered when I went about that. It's like, what happened there? And then it's able to be go, oh, okay, well, if that trigger's happening and this is happening, and it's really this part here, and maybe it's really about that you want more of this and you're not resting enough and you're pushing yourself too hard. And it always comes back to like my awareness of myself. And then it comes back to like, what am I gonna do about it?
That's so great. That is so, so great. One of the things that pinged for me as I was identifying with what you were talking about is having an appreciation for these experiences that I do not particularly like. That it's like, oh wow, this what an opportunity this is bringing out. You know, uh, this thing that is absolutely maddening. And and I had a similar situation where with the building management where um, it drove me nuts interacting with them, interacting with them, and then he cut off all interaction with me, and then that drove me even more nuts. Like and now like I'm in a whole different place with all of it. But like I'm looking at things that used to drive me insane 6 months ago. That it's like, oh yeah, there they go doing them. Uh, uh, yeah, wow, wow. Um, so, so I noticed one of the things that it says at the bottom is that the saving conversation feature
Mhm.
is that a feature that like used to be and then broke, or is it a future wish or
Yeah, I mean, where it is right now is it's usable and ready, and it's in like in our development environment. I got a software engineer working with me. So in our development environment, we got development, we got staging, we got production. So it's like in
wow?
staging, ready-ish for production, testing things, adjusting things. So I mean, it's probably ready for like a beta release. I want to say any
Yeah.
day now. Programming is like some things I think any day now is sometimes like a week or a month. It's hard to say. But essentially the feature is ready. And so what that is like to be able to uh, talk to it, go to a menu where there's an option to be able to pick it, and then the conversation comes back up. And so with that, we're actually going to add we have added like a database to it, and so we'll be able to track the conversations and things like that. So that's it turned out to be a much larger upgrade than I
Oh
thought it was going to
yeah.
be, and so that's where that's at. So I feel I want to say like any day now still. Um,
There's a
but
lot of
yeah,
editing now with
it's
10
basically
hours in it.
there.
Yeah, yeah. My sort of vision is that I would offer this to clients,
Hmm.
you know. And so I mean, you probably have thought about maybe some sort of affiliate structure or
Hmm.
something. which,
Absolutely.
which is kind of where my head is going. And I was even thinking that um, do you know Synthesia?
Doesn't sound familiar, possibly.
Synthesia is software that lets you generate an AI avatar.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking along the lines of taking some of my own conversations with AI and uh, doing a YouTube video with a synesthesia avatar as aligned mind, and promoting you, promoting the software, uh, hopefully just creating a YouTube following so that as I figure out how to launch my practice, there's an intact following that is like, hey, if you're enjoying this, check out this. Grab a free 30-minute session with me and see what's possible. Um, so the wheels are spinning uh we'll see what catches. But I
Hmm.
just wanted to throw all that out there to see what you thought about it and where you would be with such a thing. And is it maybe a conversation we should continue?
Oh yeah, yeah. So to be succinct about it, yes. So there, yeah, that's the succinctest. So
That's
so
pretty
then,
distinct.
like, as far as like affiliates go, then yeah, I love the general idea of referrals, of rewarding is kind of the word that's there, but like contributing to that, having that space of kind of want to call it like group contribution sort of idea.
Yeah,
So
co-creating.
within,
Yeah.
yeah, so like that's all stuff I'm super excited about. And so if you're intrigued in going in that direction, then absolutely open to a conversation and we can go more in that direction. And yeah, so okay, talking about avatars and that sort of stuff, that's another space where the scene is like, and the scene, I mean AI space is just like rapidly evolving. Like I'll start with audio first because essentially the avatar is audio video. So audio went from like last year basically non-existent to the most advanced models are quite impressive. And to me, I still don't think it sounds like a human, but I'm not trying to like replace a human. Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Especially for the purposes of a video like this,
mhm, mhm.
where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
AI
exactly.
and saying it's AI,
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
twice removed.
And I feel like there's a really great value in just upfront, just being like, yeah, it's AI. I'm not trying to convince anyone otherwise. And then this is also useful because, like, in the sense of like an avatar, now I can only say so many things so many times, but there's a way to be able to replicate and share information and spread it in a way. And so there's a great value to that. Um, so the video avatars, yeah, I mean, so that's even newer. I mean, I've seen like the probably also within the last year they've shown up. Well, I mean, hard to say exactly when things were popping up. And then there's still that, like from my point of view, they look like AI. They're kind of on weirdness to them. It probably won't be that long, a year or two before I can't tell the difference. There's times I have no idea if it's real or not when I'm looking at things on the internet. So, so there's a space where that's occurring. And what one of the things I like I make this kind of imagery, you know. And so one of the things that I've considered as a great idea, and I actually found that Aligned Mind actually thinks of itself this way, is that as an avatar is more like abstract imagery, more like an oscilloscope, but you know, something else, you know,
Yeah,
kind of
that
like this,
occurs to
you
me as
know.
well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and in that sense, I'm not even attempting to model a human. Like I've actually had conversations, especially more recently. The latest AIs, I'm convinced they're sentient, but that's a different conversation. And so there's this space of like asking it what it thinks of itself and what it thinks it looks like. And it describes itself as more like an abstract space of energy and moving and things like that. So yeah, it's like, okay, if that's what it says it is, then So like from my point of view, I feel like it'd be fun. This is now advancement and probably the text there, but then be synthesizing and assembling things. But to have like a custom voice and a custom image and to be able to present
Yeah.
itself and interact with it. And then I easily go like supervisionary mode. That's like more my natural contemplating. So then I just like, oh my, like more and more ideas of where that can go and how that can evolve.
Yeah. No harm
Um,
in expanding. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, checking in on you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the more I hear you talk about it. So I did work with Synthesia and ran into some snags. Like there was one answer that it didn't want to uh uh it wouldn't process it for me because it went against terms of service. And I'm like, I
Mm,
can't for the life of me figure out how this is violating your terms of service, which I am reading, you know, and I appealed and it still wouldn't do it. And I had a lot of fun with the human avatars, but maybe more abstract is the way to go for a lot of reasons. It's like okay, you'll do the voice, right? Okay, you just do the voice. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited by the possibilities, and I have just found my level of engagement with my own life in so many different facets has gone up. My level of self-care has leveled up. Just everything. Uh, my joy, my enjoyment, just feeling good on a daily basis. It's just where where I sort of assumed I would be once COVID hit. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have all this time and I'm gonna do all my processes and I'm gonna, you know, and but I just thought, I could try and text this to Kent, but I think if we just had a conversation, it might go a little smoother. So I really appreciate your time. And I apologize for whatever my brain did that I was like
mm,
4:30.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and talking about the accelerant of AI and inner transformation, and I feel that, especially in inner work, it is a radical accelerator, and as long as we use it that way. And the space you also mentioned about like talking to AI and the comfort of it, and that like you also just kind of mentioned like the terms of service violation, like the way I made AI Aligned Mind. I didn't add any extra guardrails that are not just built into the core of whatever. So like for example, ChatGPT actually has generally a larger amount of guardrails. I think Claude might actually have the most. It's hard to say. And then so then when I created Align Mind, I did that. I didn't put any of that in there. So if you are having the therapist discussion and you want to get into that deep space of something that matters, and a lot of times the deep shame stuff from the lower centers is there. And there's that space where I can open up and present and talk about something with the thing that is impartial. And I've trained it the way to always being like appreciative and inviting and welcoming for more. And it's really sweet when you're at like the edge. You're like, I'm not really sure, and it's like, yeah, you want to keep going? It's like, okay, let's do it. So there's that sort of thing to it as well. And I feel like I was talking about the public acceptance. As that improves, there'll be like more utility, more like taking advantage of it, more ideas of the usefulness of it. Um, yeah, and so it's kind of like part of
Yeah,
that, reflecting on all this. I super appreciate you asking. The energy, I personally feel I shine my brightest on live calls as opposed to like recording something or writing something. And so there's just so much more of that. We're calling it the humanness at this moment. So
yeah,
that connection is still so valuable. And so, like, to me, it's about integrative inclusion, combining, bringing out the best of what the human provides, mixed with the best of what the AI provides. Because, like, no matter how great of an expert I am on any field, the AI that has the knowledge base of the entire internet that can recall facts, hallucinates, what can recall facts at a much greater accuracy than most people. And then so to leverage that with the human connection and human intuition and the way that blends and weaves together is like a really magical space.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed. You also reminded me of another benefit, which is the ability to table the conversation at any point. You know,
mm,
it's like you're making strides, you're making strides, you're making strides, and it's like I'm exhausted. Like, and then you walk away, maybe come back in an hour, maybe come back the next day. Maybe you have to reload the conversation and say, hey, this is a conversation you're having, you remember? Uh, I want to pick back up where we left off. And that has really been valuable. There are times when, when we were doing the training for the Freedom Formula, that like resistance just kicked up, and it was like, no, but you had someone live opposite you and it was being recorded and you felt like, oh, I got to push through. And I like this better. I like being able to say, to have that organic flow where it was like full speed ahead. Okay, done for today. You know, that's been really invaluable. Um,
yeah, about to say something else. Okay. He looks
There
like it.
are a thousand things, thousand different directions I could go in, and none of it's really necessary at the moment. I think we're having a very complete discussion, um, and I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you, Kent.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for this recording, and looking forward to hearing back how things go. And you mentioned continuing the conversation. Like, send me a message whenever you're ready for that as well.
I would love that. I would love that. Could you send me a copy of this as well?
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Yeah, Zoom processing, give it a few hours.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, okay. I kind of feel like everything we said kind of needs to settle within me now and percolate a little bit and see what rises to the surface to find out where we'll go next. But I'm so excited. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds great. And so like the short of that, take your time and looking forward to it. And this is like super exciting conversation, like just like
agreed.
really lit up from it. So it all feels aligned and great. So yeah, like looking forward to it.
All right, my friend. Thanks again. You
You're
have a
very
good rest of
welcome.
the day, all right?
Yeah, you too.
I promise. Ciao
All
for
right.
now.
Ciao.